purpose of the creation of this universe. We will continue with the remaining verses. The next verse. The next verses are from chapter 16, verses 28 and 29. First, Arabic. الذين تتوفاهم الملائكة ظالمي أنفسهم فألقوا السلم ما كنا نعمل من سوء بلى إن الله عليم بما كنتم تعملون فادخلوا أبواب جهنم خالدين فيها فلبئس مثوى المتكبرين. Translation. The ones to whom the angels brought death while they were still wronging themselves, then they will resort to submission, yet will say, "We used to do nothing wrong." They will be answered, "Why not? God knows well what you used to do." Hence, enter the gates of Jahannam, that is, hell, to live in it forever. So evil is the abode of the arrogant. Let me point out here that the author of this book has collected all these verses to emphasize the fact that God is clearly telling us that we are actually non-physical beings or souls or nafs or self and are being tested in this world through our bodies. Our bodies are actually nothing more than our carriers. As Laura Lynn Jackson rightly said, we are not bodies with souls, we are souls with bodies. This verse informs us that at the time of our biological death, angels take our real self, the soul, out of our body. The wronging souls, I mean the souls who were engaged in evil acts, would submit to the angels and say that we used to do nothing wrong. In response, these wronging souls will be informed about their destination, which is hell. Next verse. This is from chapter 16, verse 32. First, Arabic. الذين تتوفاهم الملائكة طيبين يقولون سلام عليكم ادخلوا الجنة بما كنتم تعملون. Translation. Those whom the angels cause to die while they are pure, they say, "Peace be upon you. Enter the garden because of what you used to do." This verse tells us how good souls or noble souls who had submitted themselves to God will be received by the angels at the time of their biological death. Let me repeat that we, the souls or nafs, as stated in Quran, never die. Such souls will be received in a very nice manner by the angels and will also be given glad tidings of paradise at this time. Next verses. These are from chapter 39, verses 41 and 42. First, Arabic. إنا أنزلنا عليك الكتاب للناس بالحق فمن اهتدى فلنفسه ومن ضل فإنما يضل عليها وما أنت عليهم بوكيل الله يتوفى الأنفس حين موتها والتي لم تمت في منامها فيمسك التي قضى عليها الموت ويرسل الأخرى إلى أجل مسمى إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون. Translation. We have sent down to you the book for the people with truth. So Whoever follows the guidance, it is for his own good. And whoever goes astray, he will go astray only to his own detriment, and you are not responsible for them. Allah fully takes away the souls of the people at the time of their death and of those who do not die in their sleep. Then He withholds those on whom He had decreed death and sends others back up to an appointed term. Surely in this there are signs for a people who ponder. These verses are emphasizing again that 1. We are actually souls, not bodies. Our souls reside in our bodies. 2. When we sleep, our souls are detached from our bodies. 3. The souls of the sleeping persons who have completed their lifespan are not re-entered into the body. Rather, God stops them as per His plan. 4. Besides those who die in sleep, the persons who die in other forms, their souls are also detached from their biological bodies by the angels. God is informing us about these details to ponder upon the fact that we are non-physical beings. Next verse. This is from chapter 59, verse 19. First, Arabic. وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. Translation. And be not like those who forgot Allah, that is, became disobedient to Allah, and He caused them to forget their own selves. Those are the fasiqun, that is, rebellious, disobedient to Allah. To explain this verse, let me quote a famous poet from South Asia, Muhammad Iqbal. First, I will recite his poetry in Urdu language and then translate the poetry in Urdu language. अगर ना हो तुझे उलझन तो खोल कर कह दूं वजूदे हज़रते इंसान ना रूह है ना बदन. Translation. If you do not get much disturbed, to you this truth I may divulge, that real self of man is neither ruh nor body. Please note, as will be discussed in another chapter of this book, human being is not ruh. It is not to be confused with soul. Soul actually is self, and ruh is something else, which will be discussed later. This verse of Iqbal is a great contribution of his to make this point understandable. He proved his point by finding this fact from the word of God, that is Quran. The theory of evolution is entirely based on an erroneous concept of man, that is, man is body, which he is not, and this has created so much confusion in the whole world. Materialism is a manifestation of this big error in understanding the true self of man. Next verse. This is from chapter 2, verse 28. First in Arabic. كيف تكفرون بالله وكنتم أمواتا فأحياكم ثم يميتكم ثم يحييكم ثم إليه ترجعون. Translation. How disbelieve you in God when you were dead and He gave life to you? Then He will give you death, then life again, and then unto Him you will return. This verse tells God's scheme. In this verse, God associates sleep state with death. After creating us in the actual order of existence and taking covenant or oath from us, which we have discussed in the previous verses of Quran, God put us in sleep-like state, which God identifies as first death of self or soul. Then the souls are sent to this world for test or trial, and for this purpose they are attached with bodies, which are their carriers. This is soul's first life. When we face death, which actually marks the end of our test in this world, the soul is separated from the body by the angels, and they put the soul into sleep-like state again, which is the second death of the soul. The souls are kept somewhere in this universe. When the day of judgment comes, the souls will be resurrected and attached with newly formed physical bodies again, and will be held accountable for their deeds. This is their second life.